Everybody had a nice Purim?
Yep, we certainly did. Thank you so much.
Baruch Hashem. Okay, have a good day, Mayor.
Okay, be well, everyone.
All the
9th of
best.
March, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Bava, comment, anyone? Okay. Let's see. Kukatahani Tanoi. Oh. Yeah. Right. Okay, so I think we're up to Teda the Amar of Idi Bar Avin, which is the last line of Kuf Hey Amid Base.
Wow.
Yeah, because we had the kasha of Ram Bar Chama. That you see, not like Reb Sheshes from this brisa. Sheshes said Kofar Bikadon is judged as a Goslin, and Ram Bar Chama brought from the brisa that we only take away the shvua from a person because he's chashid on shvua when he's puzzle shvua when he actually swore falsely, but not simply because he falsely denied having the pikadon. And we answered that no, that Raisa is talking about a specific case that he's not, when he's trying to when he says the pikadon is not by him, it's because it's in the agum, it's out in the swamp, and he's just trying to bide time and push off the charge of the plaintiff to get him back the animal. So he's not really denying in order to avoid liability. So like that, it's not called a kofar b'bikadon that Reb Sheshes is talking about, which if he is doing so in order to avoid liability, so then that would be what Reb Sheshes says, that he is regarded as a Goslin, and he would be puzzled to make a shvua on that account. And as well, he's like the din of Reb Sheshes, that he would be judged to be chayav if anything happened to the animal, even for an onus. So now the Gemara says Teda. Teda the Amar Vidi Bar. We're going to go further into this matter of what's the status of somebody, what's the status of a person who denies even though he doesn't swear, denies falsely. Okay, so Roy, would you like to begin for us today?
Teda, you may know this distinction to be true. We're talking about a custodian has an item in possession and a case where he doesn't. To Amar Rav Adi Bar Avin. For Rav Adi Bar Avin said, a kofar b'mil Memilver, Bashir, no, so Kashir, Laedus, Kofer, Memilver, Kashir, Laedus. The one who denies taking a loan and is later refuted by witnesses remains qualified for giving testimony. He denies taking a loan and remains qualified for giving testimony. All right. The Pikudon Pesposal, the Aiders, but one who falsely denies holding a deposit is disqualified from giving testimony. Thus, we see that the denial of something that has left one's possession does not disqualify him, whereas the denial of something that is in the possession does disqualify him.
Okay, so this will be a support to Reb Sheshes, who holds that denying a pikadon makes a person into a goslin. So that's because and therefore he will be pasul edus as well, because the goslin is pasul edus. Yeah, really, the matter seems to depend not upon whether it's a what is the, because we could ask a question really. According to the Gemora's answer, the Gemora gave that the Brisa, which seemed to refute Reb Sheshes, was talking about a case, even though it was talking about a pikadon, but it was talking about the fact that was it a pikadon actually, or it was a lost article. I don't think it would make a difference actually. The main point that came out from the Gemora's reconciliation of the Brisa with Rav Sheshes was that there's cases where even though a person will deny the obligation, but we say about it that he doesn't really mean to wrongfully not fess up to his obligation, that he's trying to that he doesn't want to pay at all what he owes, but that he's just trying to push it off. And so that could be true in whether it's a case of a loan, whether it's a case of a pikadon, even if it's a case of finding a lost article, because it depends on the facts of the case, based upon the testimony of the witnesses. Like, for example, if the witnesses would testify that he's got the thing in his backyard, right? So there we see that there's no reason for the guy to have denied the possession of the thing in question, whether it was a lost article, whether it was a deposited article, whether it was a stolen article, for sure. But if it's it's not readily available, like for example, it's in the agam, so then we could understand the case that the person is not necessarily trying to avoid liability; he's just biding time. So it doesn't matter about the type of the case it is. Yeah. So that's the. Even though Rav Idi Bar Avin seems to be drawing a distinction between somebody who's a kofar b'milva, he denies alone, as opposed to a case where we say that he's kosher le'edus, and somebody who denies a bikadon, kofar bikadon, he's pasul le'edus. It would seem that it depends on the situation. Is he really what's the reason for his denial? Okay. And we're going to see further, unless we have a Rashi to do. Oh, I see that we do have one.
Mhm.
Have a Rashi to do. On the top of Kuf Vav Amud Aleph. And before we do that, we have to give a great round of applause for Kuf Hey Amud Beis.
Hooray!
Another Amud successfully completed. Baruch Hashem. Wow. Amazing. Okay, Lou, would you like to do Rashi Dibra Maskil Bikadon Pasul Le'edis?
Bebikadon pasul le'edus. With a security, he is invalidated to be a witness. Umukminan lay beresh shenayim ochzin kegon de amrei sehade de ha he she'ata dichfir dekofir lay nakit biadei ume pasil af algav delo ashtava dei be ashteva ma li melo ma li pikadon. Oh, melova. Okay, so let's see. Umukminan. I don't know that word.
Ukminan, from like Kaimalon. It's we established it. We established this case.
We established this case Shanim, Reish Shanim, 2 years. The head of the year with Rosh Hashanah.
Oh, that's a very okay. No, actually, this is the name of the first parak of Meseches Bava Metzia, Shnaim Ochsim. Remember that case in the Shnaim Ochsim B'Talis, 2 people that are holding on to a talus, and Reish means the Rosh, meaning the beginning of that parak.
Okay, Kagon, for example, the Amre that they said, Sahade de Hahi Shata. What is Sahade?
Sahade are the witnesses. Kagon the Amre Sahade, for example, that the witnesses testified.
That you denied it.
Hahi Shaita, that at that time that the person denied the having possession of the pikadon.
Nakit biyadei.
Yeah.
He had it. It was in his hand.
Yeah,
Uh,
meaning not literally in his hand, but it was in his possession, under his control,
oh,
and readily available to be returned. And so, therefore, if he's going to be denying that pikadon in such a case, so he's going to be pasul edus, because we see that he's wrongfully avoiding the responsibility over here to return it.
so mafsil means that it was returnable.
Umafsil, and he's going to be invalidated. He's going to be pasul. We're going to invalidate him as a witness.
Afagav, even though Delo Ishchava. What's Ishchava?
Ishtaba, from you see the shin and the tuck and the base and the ayin. Even though he did not swear falsely, all he did was falsely deny the obligation.
Even though that he did not swear, Dei ve'ashtava, that if he swore, ma li, what do I care, melova, if it's about a loan, ma li, or what do I care if it's a pikadon, a security.
Right.
If he swore, it doesn't matter what he swears about. It's only when he doesn't swear that it matters.
Right, because in a case of swearing, it's not acceptable to not accept. It's not an acceptable explanation to say that the reason why he swore falsely is because it was in the agum, and he's just planning to try to bide some time and get it back to the rightful owner, but he's not really denying the obligation. He swore falsely. Somebody who swears falsely, he's invalidated as a witness.
But if he doesn't swear,
so now it's going to depend. Then we could make a distinction between pikadon and milva, like Ravidi Barabin is doing over here. We could say that the case of the pikadon is talking where he has the pikadon in his possession, and the only reason why he's denying it is because he's trying to deny having to give it back. And if so, even before he swore, that invalidates him as a witness. Whereas in the case of a loan, he doesn't have the money to pay back right now. And if he's going to admit to it in the Bezdin, so the Bezdin say, so pay it up and pay it up today. And he doesn't want to have that on his head. So as a result of that, he said it's the case of in other words, the case of denying a loan is a more understandable, that what the guy is doing in denying is he's just trying to push off the obligation until he has time until he gets the money to be able to give the money back, the loan money back to the lender. And therefore the fact that he denied the loan is we're not going to say that he's going to be pasul edus on that account.
I'm confused. With a loan, he could deny because he needs time to get the money. With a pikadon, you said he could deny because he needs time to get it from the swamp. So aren't they the same case?
Well, the reason why we said that about the swamp is because we saw from the Brisa that the Brisa was only saying that in the case where he swore falsely in regard to the Pikadon, then he would be puzzled. So therefore, we had to come up with an explanation of why it was that he's not puzzled simply by denying the Pikadon. But generally, the reason why somebody's denying a Pikadon is not because it's in the Agam. It's because he's denying the Pikadon. So that's the general case, and that's why in that general case, welcome, Phil.
Hi, I'm on the street, so I'm going to have to mute because otherwise you're going to hear everything, okay?
Okay. Wow. Look at all those nice trees. Blue sky. Baruch Hashem. Nice day there. Wow. Sunny day. Okay, so that's the deal. Generally, it's going to be like Rav Yidi Bar Avin, that somebody's kofar b'pikadon will be judged to be pasal edus. But the Brisa, which doesn't sound like that, the Gemora suggested that the reason for that is because he doesn't have the pikadon readily available to give back.
Okay.
But in a case of money, everybody understands that he's the reason that he's denying is because he doesn't have it right now. That's quite understandable. Okay.
So we were saying if he didn't swear, it makes a difference.
Right.
But if he swore, it doesn't make a difference.
Right.
Can you
Because-
clarify that? Why? What's it? Why? Why does it make a difference in one case and not the other?
Because in the case of swearing, even if his true intention in swearing, I mean, it doesn't really make any sense that would be his true intention. But let's just, for the sake of the argument, let's just say that he really does intend to give back the pikadon,
Right.
or the loan. But if he's going to swear to it, so that means that he doesn't regard an oath as a serious matter, and making a false oath is a serious matter. And so there's something deficient in having made a false oath, and so therefore he's invalid as a witness. You don't make a false oath simply because you're trying to bide time. And more often than not, I don't think that that's the explanation, really. Actually, the truth of the matter is I think that people understand that an oath, to make a false oath, is a very, very weighty matter, and we take on that if the person made a false oath like that, it's because of the fact that he's attempting to avoid the obligation altogether. So in that case, when he makes a false oath, so that's really the question that I'm asking myself now. What's the reason why it makes no difference whether it's a milva or a pikadon if he's going to make a false oath? That's what Rashi says. We're not going to make any distinction. If he makes a false oath, he's going to be puzzled. So I've got two possibilities. Is that because just the actual making of the false oath invalidates him? He's someone who makes a false oath is done a serious sin. So somebody who does a serious sin, maybe he'll we don't want him to do that. We don't want him to do that. we can't allow him to make another. We can't allow him to make another oath. He's going to be puzzled for shvua, and he's also going to be puzzled for edus too, because he probably doesn't think anything wrong with lying in the Besdin, even without making an oath, because he doesn't even think that it's such a serious matter, a weighty matter to make a false oath. So we can't accept anything that he says, really. So he might be a very nice guy, but his testimony and his shvu is worthless to us. We want somebody who, when he says something in the Besdin, we know that it's true. And this is not the guy. That's one possibility of understanding why he's puzzled, and therefore it makes no difference whether it's a loan or a case of a deposit. And the other possibility is that he does realize how serious an oath is. And if in fact he is making an oath, what that means is that he's planning on he's using this false oath as a means to totally deny the obligation. And if so, totally denying the obligation, that in itself makes him puzzle and shvur.
I see.
So you probably have your pick. I think either one of them is a possible interpretation. Right? Whereas if a person is not going to make a false oath, if he has not yet made a false oath, all he's done is denied the obligation. So then there's room to say that he's not really trying to deny the obligation definitively. It's possible that he's just trying to bide time in order to give back what he owes. So that is more the case in the case of a loan, because we don't see that he has the money anywhere. Whereas in the case of the pikadon, if witnesses come and they say, "Oh, the animal is in his backyard," so then we know that he's trying to deny the obligation altogether, and therefore he's puzzled. That's why Rashi says over here, the Hayishaita the Kofrele Nokit Biode. The Gemora in Bava Mitzi and Shnaim Ochsin establishes this case of where he's puzzled edus when he's kofar pikadon, because at the time that he says this denial of the pikadon, he's got it in his possession. So we know that in that case, if he's got it in his possession and nevertheless he's denying the obligation, that means that he's trying to avoid the obligation definitively. So therefore he's puzzled edus. Okay. Weiter. Ilfa. Yes, Roy. Oh, is Alan here to read?
Here,
Okay, Alan.
okay. What page?
Omer Ilfa.
Which page?
106A1. The left-hand column, the second paragraph of the left-hand column, starting the Gemora further challenges Rav Sheshes.
Gemora. Which column is the right-hand column? 106A1. top left? Or-
Have you got that one? Okay,
The left hand or the right hand column?
left-hand column.
Left-hand column and Gemara further challenges, or
Yes.
the Gemara further challenges Rav Sheshis. For Omar, you 4, but Ilfa said, Shavua, Konor, an oath acquires, presumably, this means that from the time a custodian swears falsely in denial of a deposit, he acquires the item in the sense that he must pay for it even if it is later lost through an unavoidable mishap. Shavua, he the Kanya. This implies that an oath that requires the deposit for him, Kanya, denial alone does not acquire it for him.
Next 4 words you can read.
You get more answers? What's that?
Oh, you're right.
No, that's it.
Oh, so what's this? So here we seem to have a question over here. We have a question over here that Ilf is asking. It's not so clear from what he said, what the question is. Omar Ilfa Shvua Kona, a Shvua acquires. Shvu he dekanya, ava kfira lo kanya. Oh, so Ilfa is saying that as a result of making a shvua, the person, so to speak, is kona the article in question. That's why he's chayiv nonsin. But in the absence of making a shvua, like in the case of Reb Sheshis, where he made just a kfira, he just denied having the pikadon. Kfira lo kanya. That doesn't acquire the pikadon. So how is it that he becomes chayiv ba'onsim? Because he didn't acquire the object in question. Let's see what Rashi. I see we have a Rashi over here. A few words of Rashi.
Which one? Shvua Kona?
Shvua Kona, yeah.
Shvua Kona. Okay, third one down. Kasal Kedaka, that you might eat Chayev Ba'onsim, that he should be Chayev for unavoidable mishaps. Misha'a, from the time Shenishba, that he swore L'Sheker, that he made a false oath. Kama we're dealing with.
Okay, so Rashi's explaining, he says it Kasol Kedaita. This is the Havamina, that this is the presumption that Ilfa's challenge to Rav Sheshis is based upon. That in order for this person this depositee to be chayiv for onsin like a goslin, we've got to put the article in his reshus somehow, his halachic reshus. And if it's in his halachic reshus, so then it's like it's his the onus is on him, literally ONUS, not the word onus in Hebrew. So he's going to have to pay back in that case. Can't say, I'm not liable in such case. But when it comes to a pikadon, what Rashi's saying is that our assumption is that in order for him to be chayiv in onsin, our assumption is that that would only take place this that he was obligated in the onus would only be in place, would only be regarded as him being chayav for the onus only from the point in time that he made the false shavua, and not at the time, which was before that he falsely denied the pikodon. First, the guy comes in and he says I deposited an item by him, and the guy says, "Oh, I don't have it," or a lightning bolt came down and turned it into dust, and then so that's his false denial, but only later on do we say that, well, a witness comes and says no. One witness comes and says, "Oh, we saw it in his backyard." So then he's got to swear against that. Only at that point would he be liable for an onus for swearing. So that's Rashi's explaining that. Therefore, according to Ilfa, that's why we understand that simply that he for being he wouldn't be liable for onus at that point, because that's going to take place before swearing falsely. So let's see what the Gemora answers over here. How does the Gemora answer this question? Hacha. Alan, you want to continue? Since you started? Alan, are you there?
Where are we now? I'm here.
Yeah, just the same place, just these the answer. Hachanami.
I think Gemara answers, okay. Hacha nami to kaimor here too, the reference is a case with the deposit standing in a swamp and not in the custodian's possession. The time of his denial, so that unless he swears falsely, his denial is regarded as a mere delaying tactic.
So it seems we can infer from the words of Art Scroll that since he did not yet swear, his denial is going to be regarded as a delaying tactic, which is not going to be the case. We will not be able to say that after he's sworn. You can't say that the reason that he swore is to further bolster his position as a delaying tactic, and he really does plan to give back the article in question. That if he really planned to give back the article in question, he doesn't need to swear falsely. He's not prepared to do that. Okay, so okay, so we're making a limitation in the words of Ilfa. This that Ilfa said that the shvua is kona, but kfira is not kona. We're talking about a case where the animal was in the agam. That's what Ilfa said. That's what we have to say in order that the words of Ilfa do not contradict the words of Rav Sheshes.
Marcus, you were here a little while ago to put the bars in the bathroom.
But if the words, if the animal was not in the agum, so then Ilfa would agree that that the kfira also would be kona the item and he'd be chayav for onsin. Because it's according to Rashi, it would seem like it's based upon or the article's explanation would seem to be it's based upon it's put into his domain that he's kona it, not simply with a shvua, but if he is actually trying to avoid the obligation definitively. It's not dependent upon the shvua.
Okay.
And that's what we have to say according to Reb Sheshes. And like that, we'll make it that Ilfa is not arguing on Reb Sheshes. So that's what the Gemora says. In order to we don't, it's not definitive that Ilfa is arguing with Reb Sheshes, because we could say that Ilfa is talking about a case where the animal is be'agam. Okay, we got a lot of animals in the swamps over here in this Gemora. Seems like the animals like to go to the swamp. Okay. Let's see, how much time do we have? No time. Okay. So that's
Okay.
that.
Take care.
Everybody have a great day after Purim, and good luck in cleaning your house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
starting.
hope you have somebody to do that so that you don't need to do it.
Okay. Take
All
care.
the
Be well.
best.
Bye. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
That's alone.
Oh, if you went to somebody else's house for Purim, that's even better, right?